Now, to continue your education with tables, as you know, you've learned how to combine some cells using a col span and a row span. Now, this is a very effective tool, but you really have to get comfortable with it. So I've devised some of these exercises that will make a little bit more sense and make it a little bit more fun in doing so. What I'd like you to do first, though, is I want you to go to your browser, open up another tab, so Command T, okay? And then once you've got the Command T, I want you to go to a particular site, www.foodserver.ca, okay, slash, and then you're going to type in a file name of a bunch of files that I want you to use. It's called table practice with an s.zip, and it's just going to download this zip file that has a whole bunch of files in it. And I'm going to ask you to put this on your desktop, and then we'll work with those. So once it downloads in Safari, you'll see it come to an end here. And then you have to locate these in the same location on your desktop. So let's do that. Oh, and you see it opened up here. So once you have it opened up like this, and you can see table practice is here, I just want you to move that to your desktop. Okay, and I have a copy there, so it's just replacing it. So if I go to my desktop, I've got table practice here. And you'll see it has a whole bunch of different files in folders. And what these are is, if you look at this, this is the one we're going to work with first. Table exercise practice, and it's got 4 pictures in here, and then it's got a PDF file. You always go to the PDF file first, take a look, and you can see it takes the 4 pictures that are broken up into different pieces, and you put them back together but in a table. So in this case, if you look at this table, you have to decide how big is this table, how many rows, how many columns does it have. And you sit there and you go, okay, well, this has 2 rows, and the maximum number of cells it has is 3. So it's really a 2 row by 3. Okay, but this one obviously has a col span, and this one obviously has a row span. So we have to create a table that initially starts as 2 rows, each with 3 data cells, and then combine here with a row span and combine here with a col span, then put the appropriate pictures in. So that's what we're going to do. So we'll leave this and we'll minimize this so we can come back and take a look at it if we have to. And we'll go back to, I'll leave this minimized as well, just in case you have to go back to it. I'm going to close this, but we're going to go back to our web pages and go back to Smoltron. Okay, and we'll start a brand new page. And this page, we're going to save into that folder. It's really important that we save it there. But we'll first start typing in a little bit, just so we have something on there. Okay, so let's type in our HTML and our header tag and our closing header tag and our title. We'll just call this sunset and slash title, and then we just need a body tag. Okay, whoops. What happened there? Body not looking. Oops. Okay, now we're going to create that table. Okay, now if we remember how that table is going to look, we need a table that is 2 rows, each with 3 data cells, and then make the appropriate combinations there. And before we begin that, let's save it in the right location. And the right location is wherever those pictures are. Okay, so in this case, we go into our table practice, okay, and then we go into table exercise practice, and this is where we want to save it. And let's just call it your name first, just so you keep all your pages together. Then underscore sunset.htm. Okay, and save it. Okay, and everything turns the appropriate blue color. And let's begin. I'm going to put in a title. Sunset. And let's surround it by paragraph tags, just so it comes out nicely. Okay, now let's begin our table. And again, we said our table, and we'll put a border on it to start. border equals 1. Okay, oops. There we go. And then our closing table tag. There we go. And now, again, we said it was going to be 2 rows. Oops, let's go back, hit enter. Each with 3 data cells. So I'll put in 1 data cell here. And we need 3 of those. So let's go like this. Highlight it. Command C to copy, Command V to paste. And then I need 2 rows, each with 3 data cells. So I'm going to do that, highlight that, copy it, and then paste. And now I've got my table. So again, this is, and just so you can see it better, I'm just going to put a space here and a space here. So you can see that I have a table, a single border, single pixel border. And I have 3 data cells for each row. But as you recall, we want this to be, in the first row, we want to have 2 TDs. But in the first row, we want 2 TDs. The first TD is going to have a row span of 2. And then the second TD, table data cell, is going to have a call span of 2. Okay, so that makes it actually pretty simple. So if we go in here, again, I said the first TD is going to have a row span equal to 2. Okay? And then in the second cell, I want to have a call span equal to 2. And then I don't need the third one because I've eliminated it by having that call span. So let's see what I've got now. So if I look at this, go back to my preview image here. I'm just going to put it over here a bit. I have in my first row a row span of 2. There we go, row span of 2. And then in the second cell, I have a call span of 2, call span of 2, and then no more cells. Okay? In my second row, I need to have, well, this doesn't count because it's been overtaken by this, but I need a cell here and I need a cell here. So I have 2 TDs. I've got 3 right now, so I have to get rid of 1. Now my table is correct. All I have to do now is just pick the right picture to go into each of these. Now if we go back to those files and take a look, I've actually put them in order for you. There's the one that goes on the left. There's the one that goes across as the call span. And then here's the third and the fourth, and they're just called Sunset 1, Sunset 2, Sunset 3, Sunset 4. So let's try that. Right now, if I take a look at this, you actually probably won't even see anything. Just so you can see it, let's take a look. Let's go back to the browser, which I covered up with this and this. So if I go to File, and I go Open File, and then I go into my table practice, and I pick this picture and I go open. Okay, you see nothing yet because there's literally nothing in there. Okay, if here's something that I haven't shown you yet, but if you view the source, it shows you. Oh, now there's an error. I hadn't saved yet. Let's save. Now let's go back, refresh that, and that's what you see. You actually see this little table. So my apologies. Sunset and the little table there. Now let's put in the images. So if you remember how to do the image tags, and I'm just going to flip back to here to show you the name. It's Sunset 1 JPG, Sunset 2 JPG, Sunset 3. So I'm going to put in Sunset 1.jpg. I'm going to save that. I'm just going to show you how it affects the page itself. So refresh. Oops. That was an error. Not Sunset 1 JPG like that. We want to put in an image tag. img space src equals, and then in quotes, Sunset 1. My bad. There we go. And again, it's a self-closing tag. So I click Save, go back to here, and instead of having text, we have an image that's forming. Okay, let's continue. Now, to make this easier on ourselves, I'm just going to copy that whole image tag, copy it. Then I'm going to go paste, paste, and paste. And these are in order in this case. So I'm going to put number 2 there, number 3 here, and number 4 here. And if I save this, and I go back to here, and I reload, there we go. We have the image. Okay, and it's formed very nicely, except for these borders. Now, let's take a look. If I make this border equal to 0, is that going to fix everything? Well, let's find out. Reload it. I still have these spaces. Well, that's a problem. So, what this needs is cell padding equals 0. I'll save that. Go back, reload. You see it's slightly smaller because you also need cell spacing equal to 0. Okay. And I'll save that, go back, and reload. And now it looks like a single image. Okay. Now what you're going to do next is very interesting. Okay, you are actually going to do this whole exercise again with the remaining 5 sets of pictures. The first one, it's a 5-picture one if you look at this. And we'll make this a little bit larger so you can see it. Okay. It's, again, another table, and this time let's count the number of rows it has. It goes 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows, and how many columns? 1, 2, 3. So this is a 3 by 3 table, okay? And in the first cell of the first row, it does a row span of 3. And the second cell of the first row, it does a col span of 2. In the next row, you're gonna have, you don't have one here, so it starts with this one. The first TD is here. And then in the second TD, you have a row span of 2. And then the last row, the only cell you have is this one, so a single TD. So that's how you make that table. And then place the pictures in appropriately. Okay. The second exercise you have, Statue of Liberty, it's another 5-picture one. Again, this one is like this. You can take a look at this, and I'm sure you can figure it out as well, because this again is 1, 2, 3 rows, and 1, 2, 3 data cells. Okay, so another 3 by 3 table that you're going to start with. However, we move on to exercise 3, and you take a look at this one, and you die, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. Okay, and so that's a 5 by 5. And then if you do the water skiing one, it gets even more complicated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the windsurfing one, again, this one's a little bit harder to see because you can't see it. It's 1, 2, I think, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or it could just be 6, I can't tell here. And it's by 1, 2, 3. Actually, I think we'll better double click it and take a look. Oh no, there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there you go. Those are your exercises that I'd like you to finish for whenever you can. And if you can do all of these, you'll understand tables so well. Okay, good luck.